Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sports Now, the show where we go over and debate the biggest stories in sports. I'm Josh Heller, and today we have a guest with us, our Patriots and Celtics insider, Keith Parrow. Keith, how's it going?
Great. How are you, Josh?
And, of course, Logan Ripley. How's it going?
It's going well, as always, as everyone else knows.
Yep. The answer never changes.
Because everyone knows me.
Yeah, it's true.
Let's get on to NCAA basketball.
We have a lot to talk about today, and we are going to cram it into a half hour. Let's get things rolling with the Elite Eight wrap-up.
Folks? Are you ready for this? It's going down. The Final Four is here, but we have to talk about the Elite Eight first. What are the games that we're looking at?
We had Kansas-Villanova. Villanova beats the Jayhawks 64-59 in the South region. Over in the West, Oklahoma beats Oregon 80-68. In the East, we had UNC beating Notre Dame 88-74. And lastly, in the Midwest, Logan, I know he's happy about this one. Syracuse takes down number one Virginia 68-62.
We'll talk a little bit about that.
All right. Which one do you want to start with?
I just want to say that Villanova's been underrated this whole tournament.
Okay.
And Kansas, I think, was overrated. And you saw in that game. And I know it wasn't like a big blowout. It was a close game, but Villanova definitely showed their stripes and that they can get it done. And I think that Villanova-Oklahoma game is going to be one to see. It's going to be a lot of shots going down. It's going to be closer to the NBA than we'll see in any of the other games.
And now, what are your thoughts on Buddy Hield?
Oh, wow. He the same thoughts I had before. He's the best
player
in the country. Yeah.
Yeah, easy.
And I don't know if there's really anything else I can say about. I think he's going to carry his team to the championship game.
Do you think they can win it all?
They could win it all, only if Syracuse loses to
okay.
UNC.
All right.
If UNC plays Oklahoma, then UNC will lose to Oklahoma, but Syracuse plays Oklahoma.
Right.
I don't think Buddy can shoot against that 2-3 zone.
All right, we're going to move over to the East, and at the same time, we're going to give a big hug to Keith, as well as being a Patriots and Celtics insider. He is also a huge Notre Dame fan.
A sad Notre Dame fan.
Keith, I'm sorry. What do you have to say about the Fighting Irish, especially in the tournament? Like, how would you assess their performance?
I think they did well for the tournament. I don't think anyone really expected them to go that far. They're kind of underrated going into it.
Yep.
We did have a couple big wins in the season, but
who had the best tournament? You think was it Demetrius Jackson, Zach August?
I think August, because everyone knows Jackson's going to be a top pick in the NBA, but August is projected to go in the second round.
Okay. Logan, what are your thoughts on UNC Notre Dame?
I think Notre Dame just didn't play up to their full potential. I think they could have put them away at the end, and they're like, oh, God, we have the lead. Now let's just coast. And that was something that they haven't played with throughout the whole tournament. They've had to come back, like Syracuse, a couple times and put teams away, and they got into a different role where they're leading the game.
Right.
And it was kind of like Need for Speed when you push the NOS too early. That's the way I looked at it. And they just couldn't catch back up. UNC is just like got that last like percentage of adrenaline and started draining shots. And sometimes you just can't beat teams when they make shots like that. The percentage they shot from three, which they haven't done all year.
Really quick answer from both of you, and I'm actually curious to see who each of you say. Who's going to be the better NBA player, Bryce Johnson or Marcus Page? Keith, you first.
I think Page.
Logan?
I think Bryce Johnson.
Okay, debate.
Marcus Page shooting the worst he's ever shot. He was better as a junior than he is this year, which is not good.
Mm-hmm.
He's been injured in the past. Bryce Johnson has shown that he is one of the best rebounders in the country, and he does that by going vertical and not just by boxing out, and he's big enough to box out people. He's going to be a good power forward. He's not going to be great, and when you ask the question who is better, it's going to be Johnson, but I don't think either of them are going to be that good. He's going to be the same level as James Michael McAdoo on Golden State.
Yeah.
Bryce Johnson, he can't go any. They're the same player.
You don't think so?
No.
All right, Keith.
I think he would have left already. He wouldn't have stayed
that's
this
true.
long.
I'll give you that.
I mean, yeah, that's how long it took him to develop, and McAdoo to develop. What's his upside from what he is right now in college basketball?
Yeah. So. All right, I'll give you that. Keith, anything to add?
I think Page has more potential when he's hot and on. He's really unstoppable. And if he can capture that at all times, I think he'd be the better NBA player.
Do you think he's closer to like a Mike Conley? And do you think he can get that high?
I think in the NBA, it might take him a couple of years, but I think he can reach that.
Wow. Okay. So
if he
very
gets
different
if he
point
gets
of
his,
views.
If he gets his shooting, down because we all know he can create for others.
Right.
Stays, this is about everyone. If you don't get injured, you're gonna have a better career. But yeah, I think if he gets drafted, he's gonna be in the second round. He won't be in the first.
Okay. And then moving on to Virginia Syracuse, I'll leave this to the biggest Orange fan in the room. Logan, give me your analysis.
Says the kid that's wearing the Syracuse orange shirt from Josh Heller. Don't get me wrong, Josh Heller is a Syracuse fan.
Just not nearly as big as you are. Give me your analysis.
I was pretty pumped up. Their game against Gonzaga was a big win. Just to start with that one, they shot well at the end of the game. We're shooting the best in the second half than any other team, I think, in the whole tournament. We're shooting really bad in the first half, which is getting us these big, losing droughts, falling behind kind of early into the second half, late in the first. So it's just showing our will to win. I liked the play that Malachi Richardson's had this tournament. Banjde, he's been a little on and off, hot and cold. Cooney, I think, has been pretty steady. Leiden having a great tournament, and that just goes to show the recruiting that Boeheim's doing. We haven't seen it in the past. We've seen it with the great players like Carter Williams and Ennis and CJ Fair, but they haven't done anything. And to see young guys really take over, which is usually not Boeheim's strategy. Usually the team's led by older guys like Banjde and CJ Fair when he was playing. So seeing young guys step up, it's really good. Their win over Virginia was surprising, and they're down 16. But it's something about the team I never thought we were going to lose, even down 16. And they showed that they had resilience in that factor. Hopefully they bring it against UNC, which we probably should have beat once earlier in the season. Yeah. And I thought Notre Dame had the best shot to beat UNC, seeing as they dominated them in the first game. But then UNC flipped the table and found out something about Notre Dame that other ACC teams didn't know. I don't know, because they just destroyed them in the second game and then, of course, beat them in the Elite Eight. So.
Yep. All right. So to the Final Four matchup in the left side of the bracket, it is number 2 Villanova versus number 2 Oklahoma, and on the right side, like you said, number 1 UNC versus number 10 Syracuse. All right. Keith, Villanova, Oklahoma, who wins and who's the difference maker?
Slight edge to Oklahoma, because I think Buddy Hield's been hot all tournament, and I think he's going to carry it into this game.
You don't think he's going to cool down at all?
Not yet.
All right, you give him Player of the Year too, or would you give that to someone like Valentine or Brogdon?
I think you would give him the Player of the Year. I don't think anyone else has been as consistent throughout the whole season as he has.
Do you give him Player of the Tournament too?
That's tough. We still have a couple more games to go. We'll have to see if anyone else can perform well.
All right, well, to this point,
I'd like to see who else would be in that conversation. I think Buddy Hield's been putting up the highest points, but I think you could make a case for a lot of players.
Number 2 on Villanova, I forget his last name. Is it Jenkins?
It might be Jenkins.
Because he's hit some big shots.
Jenkins, Hart on that team. Archie Diacono. Sound like Charles Barkley. So, I don't know. Richardson, who's averaging, I think he's averaging above his average, and then, of course, having 20-something. I think the players that play in the biggest spotlight are going to be the ones to earn Player of the Tournament. Or team, let's see, Jimmer Fredette, when he won Player of the Year, he brought a team BYU that they didn't think they'd get that far. Syracuse was carried last game. Maybe if they go into the finals, they might give them a chance to.
Speaking of Jimmer, not sure if you saw it, but the Jimmer-led Westchester Knicks made the playoffs first time in history.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are they about to do some damage?
Probably not. Hey, good for them.
He is one of the best players in the D-League right now.
Oh, easy. All right, so let's go around. Who's advancing to the championship game? I say Oklahoma. Keith?
I agree with that.
Logan?
Yeah, Oklahoma. Buddy Hield's too much for any team right now, especially Villanova's defense.
Close game or blowout?
I'm going to say 10-point win. That was close, but free throws.
Keith?
I can agree with that.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to say probably 6-point win. I think it'll be a little closer, but yeah. All right, let's go to the right side of the bracket.
So the guy that was shooting free throws missed 2. 4.
Over to UNC Syracuse. Logan, give me an unbiased opinion on this.
Well, I think my unbiased opinion last time was Syracuse was going to beat Gonzaga, and I was right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say my unbiased opinion is Syracuse is going to beat UNC because UNC used up all their magic against Notre Dame, and Notre Dame's 2-3 was working against UNC, and then they switched to man-to-man and got blown out.
Okay.
And Boeheim showed he knows when to do presses, when to drop back, and that's the reason. We're going to say, yeah, Malachi Richardson won us that game against Virginia, but Boeheim changed defense to press with 7 minutes left in the game, sped them up, which you don't want to do against UNC. So I think we're going to drop back more often than not, play 2-3, and UNC is going to have to shoot the ball well, or Bryce Johnson is going to have 35 and 15 boards and 5 offensive boards and score from there.
Mm-hmm.
Offensive boards can kill Syracuse, but there's a lot of good rebounders. They're all tall in UNC. So it's going to be, if we're going to win, it's going to be like 3 or 4 points.
All right, so your pick is Syracuse.
Yes.
All right, who is your difference maker for the game?
Cooney.
Cooney again?
Well,
Oh, no, that was my pick. Yeah.
I'd go Cooney or Roberson. I think Roberson can match up with anyone rebounding.
Okay.
If he's boarded well against UNC in the past. He's the best rebounder on the floor of anyone we play against.
Mm-hmm.
And he's 6'9", and I think the Bryce Johnson Roberson matchup's going to be good.
Okay.
One to watch.
All right, Keith, who's your winner?
I have UNC. I think the weakness, like you said, Syracuse can't board, and as you saw, UNC boarded big against Notre Dame because we only had one really good rebounder.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't play a lot because he's in foul trouble. Yeah.
But he played in the second half when UNC took over on us.
Okay.
So I think the rebounding will give UNC the edge because they have 2 big men that can rebound really well, and they got a lot of offensive boards through the tournament.
All right, who's your difference maker then for UNC?
The 2 big men down there.
Okay. All right. I am going to also go with North Carolina. I'm sorry, Logan.
Take that shirt off right now, please.
I'm sorry. And I am also going to say Bryce Johnson is the difference maker in this one. I think Marcus Page is going to have a good game, though, especially building off last game. I forget his exact stats.
I think the young guy, I think Barry's going to have a good game for them. I think he's going to hit some shots, and Marcus Page is going to struggle.
Okay. All right. So both those games are on April 2nd, which is Saturday, I believe. I believe it's Saturday.
Yeah.
6:09 and 8:49. I'll be at a Rangers game, so you just keep me updated.
All right, we'll see. Hockey over.
So we're switching
Four.
over to the NHL?
No, not yet.
We have a couple people to talk about from NCAA that have declared for the draft.
Yeah.
Wayne Selden
Of Kansas, yeah.
Of Kansas, shooting guard. Of course, he had that big dunk. Got him pretty hyped of recent. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's great. I don't think he led that Kansas squad. I think Perry Ellis led that Kansas squad.
Is he a first-round pick?
I think he's going to be a first-round pick, yes.
Okay.
The other ones, Demetrius Jackson has declared for the draft out of Notre Dame, and he will be signing with an agent soon. So
all right, let's get an analysis
he'll
from
not
the
be back for his senior year.
Let's get an analysis from the Fighting Irish fan. Give me a quick scouting report on Demetrius Jackson. Go.
Demetrius Jackson can get to the hole really well. He can actually shoot the 3, and he can dribble insanely well. So I think he'll translate to the NBA. I don't think he'll be a starter right away, but I think he'll be a good reserve off the bench.
Do you think he's better than Grant into the NBA?
I think he'll be better than Grant, yeah.
Jerry and Grant?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. First-round pick?
Yes.
Top 15?
Early, yeah. I think he'll go early.
Top 10?
I wouldn't say that far.
All right,
I'm saying like 13 or 14.
All right, 10 to 15 is the range we got.
I think he was 16. They were talking about him going 16.
Yeah, I think he built his stock up over the year. They projected him late first round at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had some good games. He's the reason why Notre Dame got that far.
Okay. So we'll move on from college basketball. We'll go to the MLB. Matt Harvey was hurt. His opening day was in question, but now he has been cleared. He had a tune-up today. He had blood clots in his bladder, I believe is what it was. And he gave a direct quote that he held in his pee too long.
Did you see the thing on the New York Post that was about that?
Oh, yeah, the Post had so many alternate titles besides that one. Yeah.
That's not good.
So
that's
Harvey, everyone had said they were praying for Harvey. Mets fans got really scared that he was going to be out for a while. He's fine. He tuned up today. He'll be ready for opening day. I still think he's the second best pitcher in that rotation. I am a huge DeGrom fan.
Yeah, DeGrom showed that he was one of the best when he went to the All-Star game. That was amazing. He just 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Did his work. DeGrom throws hard. I think he was a little amped for that matchup when he was throwing against those real big leaguers.
Yeah.
Yeah, throwing 98 is not usually what he does, but like 96 range. I think Syndergaard's going to have a good year, though.
Yeah.
I wish they all played for the Yankees.
DeGrom leads the NL this spring training with, I believe it's a 1.67 ERA.
So I just want to ask a real quick question.
Go ahead.
Is the Subway Series starting us off? Because I thought I saw something that Mets and Yankees. What's the first game for the Yankees and the Mets? Is it Subway?
It's
Subway?
not the opening series.
Oh,
we
right.
played Baltimore, I'm pretty sure, in the opening series.
All right, because I wasn't sure about that. I thought I saw that. Maybe it was just like an Instagram thing that.
Yeah,
like,
I'm pretty sure that the Yankees don't play the Mets right away. Speaking of Yankees, if you remember from the Michael Pineda trade, they traded catching prospect Jesus Montero to Seattle, and he's been placed on waivers, picked up by the Blue Jays.
What a story from that guy. He was supposed to be our big-time catcher.
Yeah.
We traded him in the Pineda trade. He hit 3 home runs in his debut for the Yankees, I believe.
It was either 2 or 3, yeah.
Yeah, and then he fell off the face of the earth after PED issues, right?
Yes, yeah.
So,
and he's been bouncing back and forth between AAA and the majors, trying to find somewhere permanent. But it's kind of sad because when he was a Yankee, I always looked at him as the catching prospect of the future. Right. He's going to be the next guy after Jorge, and that doesn't seem to be the case. Now I know he's not as good as Blake Swihart or Sweetheart or whatever, as we had the resident Red Sox fan in the room.
Swihart, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Anyway, moving on. More former Yankee news as the Braves released Nick Swisher. Swisher's making way too much money. And they just cut him right out of training camp. No one signed him yet, as far as I know. He's been struggling, especially with injuries, since leaving the Yankees and going to the Indians. I believe he went to after that. I don't know. I always loved Swisher on the Yankees, but he was good back then.
My aunt actually met Nick Swisher, and she didn't like him. I
Really?
guess because she lives in the West Virginia / Ohio range, and that's where he was from. So when he'd come home, she always saw his parents and stuff around the town, and he'd come home. I guess he was kind of not a very nice gentleman.
Huh. Well,
he was a good player, very enthusiastic guy. I guess you could see him to be a partier. I guess he'd fit out on that Boston squad pretty well.
He's definitely too old now. I don't think he can contribute to an MLB team.
Yeah, he's had a lot of injuries. And I remember just all the way he would embrace the crowd in New York. He was always a fun guy to watch, even if he was struggling. But yeah, I don't know. I hope he finds a home soon, even if it's in the minors or something. Just sad story for him. And then over to the Indians, star outfielder Michael Brantley is going to be out for opening day. I always thought Brantley was a very, very underrated outfielder. Solid average pretty much every year for the past several. That Indians outfield is already weak, and it's going to look even weaker with Brantley out.
Yeah, he's definitely a big-time player. He's one of the best outfielders in the league, so they're going to miss him to start the season. Hopefully they can get on the run and bring him back into the lineup when he's healthy. Yep.
All right, I'm going to go over to Hockey Minute, but this time I won't be alone. I have a friend, someone else who watches hockey, Keith. Feel free to jump in whenever you feel that you would like to. First, we'll go up to Edmonton with Nail Yakupov asking to be traded prior to the deadline. He was not dealt. According to him and his agent, there were at least 6 teams interested in him, but nothing came of that. And then, according to TSN's Bob McKenzie, Jimmy Vesey out of Harvard will not sign with the Nashville Predators, who owns his rights. He will instead go to unrestricted free agency, expected to join either the Boston Bruins, Toronto Maple Leafs. There's going to be a lot of teams in on him. Speaking of Canadian teams, Montreal places goaltender Ben Scrivens on waivers. Scrivens was brought in, especially when Carey Price went down, so Scrivens will either go to the minors or will be picked up on another team looking for depth goaltending. Injuries. Ottawa's going to lose Clark MacArthur and Dion Phaneuf for the rest of the season. Ottawa's plenty out of the playoff picture. MacArthur has been out, I believe, the whole season with a concussion. Phaneuf just had his injury just a little while ago. Tampa Bay Lightning with a huge loss as one of their best defensemen, Anton Stralman, is out indefinitely with a fractured left fibula. That was scary to watch on TV. His leg bent in a way that they're not supposed to bend.
Keith, your thoughts on Strowman?
What, the injury?
Yeah. Do you have any?
It was gross. I did see that.
Tampa Bay is fighting for that number 1 overall spot in the Atlantic Division. They're fighting with Florida. They might not get it now. Strawman's going to be out the rest of the regular season. We'll see if he can return at some point in the playoffs. And then Pittsburgh lose their second-best defenseman, Oli Mata. He's week to week with a lower body injury. And then, Keith, I'm sorry to say it, but the Boston Bruins are plummeting.
Yeah.
What's going on?
We're barely still in the playoff picture. We only have a couple games left to go, so we gotta get these points and make it in.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can tell Keith is sad by just the
Yeah,
demeanor of his voice.
what's going on with the Bruins? Is it the goaltending? Is it the defense?
We're very inconsistent all season. We're hot, and then we can get really, really cold.
That's classic Boston sports, though. I'm feeling it with the Celtics right now.
I mean, you look at a guy like Brad Marchand, and he has 36 goals this season.
Yeah,
he's having a tremendous year.
But other than that, we struggle to score.
Right.
We don't have a good offense.
Yeah.
And then if our goaltending and defense is shaky that game, we're going to lose.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you look at a guy like Zdeno Chara, used to be such an important guy on that defense, and now he's just like 70 years old.
He's like an old mule that we just keep sticking out there, and he can't really play at that many minutes at that high of a level anymore.
He just can't skate anymore. He still has that booming slap shot, but other than that, I mean, it's not like he's a terrible player. You know, he's not like Dan Girardi or Mark Stahl on the Rangers, but he just can't do what he used to be able to do. So with that, thank you for joining me for Hockey Minute, Keith.
No problem.
Let's move on to NBA, where Blake Griffin has been cleared to play following, a broken hand, right?
Yeah. He punched
the staffer, yeah. He's cleared to play, but now he starts serving his 4-game suspension.
Not perfect. I'd say he's cleared to play like 4 games ago. Maybe he's going to be ready for this one.
I don't know.
Isn't that just smart thinking, or is that just?
I think that would be the move you can do. I don't know if that's legal though.
Oh, it's probably legal. Do you think the Clippers can contend for the West at all, or is it pretty much locked up with Golden State?
I think they can contend. Definitely, they have to just get by the first round.
Yeah.
The first or the second round. They've been struggling in that, and I think adding Blake Griffin this late in the season after not playing with him for a while. Mm-hmm. Of course, they know how to play with him, but I don't know how it's gonna go. I guess we're all gonna have to wait and see for that one.
He hasn't been in the rotation at the same time as Jeff Green yet, has he?
No, he's been out.
So that'll be
whole
interesting
time.
to see what they do there.
Yeah,
that was a weird trade.
Doc just wants
the Clippers got such a good deal on that. Lance Stevenson, not that good anymore.
Yeah,
a terrible contract too.
And Green's still just a couple seasons ago, Green was averaging 19 points per game. I know not on a very good Boston Celtics team.
Well, yeah.
He was, he could still hit the 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, just you got to look for as an X factor. But I think Blake Griffin's going to overshadow him in that aspect, though.
Now, where would you rank them in the West? You'd rank them below Golden State, and probably San Antonio.
Spurs, yeah.
Now, where I'm caught up is, do you put them below the Thunder? Because I would.
Yeah, I think so. I think you have to right now. But once they get in the playoffs, anything can happen. You can see the Thunder lose in the first round.
What about you, Keith? Do you have the Clippers below the Thunder, too?
Yeah, I think because Westbrook's playing insane this year.
I think they might be below the Jazz also.
Really?
The Jazz are,
not in terms of actual I'm talking your assessment.
I think power ranking, the Jazz have been playing very good basketball this year. And we saw Rodney Hood put up 30-something in the first half the other night.
Mm-hmm.
So in a playoff series, you'd pick the Jazz against the Clippers?
Yeah, I think they're a better team.
That's bold.
I think they're a better team.
Okay. All right.
And I think Doc Rivers has struggled coaching, and I'm kind of happy he's gone. He's proven that he can coach teams with 3 stars on them.
Yeah.
And yes, I like him for bringing a championship, but how much did he really have a factor in that?
Yep.
You have 3 veterans there that led your team. It's like having 3 LeBrons. So,
all right, so we'll run down the rest of the news quick. Chris Paul has withdrawn from the Olympic roster. They already lost Anthony Davis, so another huge hit for them.
Yeah.
They're still the favorites, though, I would think, right up there with Spain.
Yeah, definitely. Spain's pretty good. Canada's one to look out for. Canada has a lot of young guys and future young guys, so
yep.
I think Canada's going to be a very big force in probably 5 years.
Yep. The greatest NBA 2K player to ever make a roster, Yao Ming, to the Hall of Fame.
Great 2K player.
Great. Keith knows that firsthand.
So that's just a report that he's been elected to the Hall of Fame. Good for him. Always loved watching him in Houston.
Yeah.
So the Knicks, the Magic, and the Bucks have all been eliminated. Didn't see that coming at all. Over to football, a lot of signings and visits as the Saints signed former Lion Nick Fairley, also out of Auburn, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. The Packers looking for a new tight end after going last season without Jermichael Finley. They settle with the speedy tight end out of Los Angeles, Jared Cook.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Yeah, he's really
That's
quick.
a big loss for the Rams right there. Jared Cook's a very good player. They just haven't had a quarterback to throw to him in 3 years. And he's showing that he's good on a team without a quarterback. What's he going to do when, arguably the best quarterback in the league is your quarterback? So.
Yep. The Packers looking to add to an already jumbled backfield. They're looking to add Ronnie Hillman from the Broncos. Had a great season last season, filling in for a very disappointing C.J. Anderson at the beginning of the season. And also, after the Dolphins lost out on Lamar Miller, Arian Foster visited with the Dolphins. Foster was cut earlier this offseason. Now over to other news. The NCAA Frozen Four is coming up April 7th.
Quinnipiac, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Quinnipiac.
Number 1 Quinnipiac will face off against Boston College.
I have a friend who's a journalism major at Quinnipiac. He's a senior, and he does all their hockey stuff, a lot of basketball.
Awesome.
So he's definitely having a good time. He's there right now. He's going to be there for it and covering it for his school.
Yeah, my sister went to law school there. It's such a good hockey team.
Yep.
And then on the other side of the bracket, number 3 North Dakota will play Denver.
Did Michigan get beat?
Michigan got beat by North Dakota.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, it's North Dakota versus Denver. I saw Quinnipiac when they had their regional game at the Times Union Center here in Albany. So fun to watch. I think it's going to end up being Quinnipiac versus North Dakota, and I think Quinnipiac can pull out on top.
All right.
Keith, anything to add? I don't know if you watch college hockey or not.
Go Boston College.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. It's that time of the show. We're going to go to trivia now. Keith isn't really prepared for this, so we're just going to throw our questions at him. Logan, do you want to ask first, or shall I?
You can go.
All right. So I have 3 questions, but I have 4 categories for you, okay?
Oh, God, I don't have that many.
All right. So, Keith, because you're the guest, I'm going to have Logan pick the categories, okay?
All right.
All right. Logan, here are your categories for the first question.
I'm picking a guest for him? Or I'm picking a
You're picking a category for
guest?
both of you. No, both of you.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
We're facing each other.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, let's not, we got about 10 minutes left, so let's get through these. Your categories: baseball, basketball, football, or golf.
Golf.
All right, golf.
All right.
Oh, God.
I think this might be easy for you. Who leads the tour all-time in victories? Tiger Woods, Sam Snead, Jack Nicklaus, Ben Hogan. You say Nicklaus.
It just in wins.
Yes.
Woods.
Wow.
Correct answer, Sam Snead.
Oh, Sam Snead.
Yeah, it is Snead, and then I believe it is Nicklaus.
Nicklaus leads in majors.
Yeah, this is just all-time in
count.
victories.
I thought Woods led
All right,
in
so
4 wins.
You're 0 for 1, both of you.
I guess
Disappointed already.
He didn't beat Jack in tour wins yet?
No,
I know he's got in the high 70s, I'm
Come on,
pretty sure.
Tiger.
All right, baseball, basketball, or football?
I don't know. I don't care. Basketball.
Basketball. All right. Most people know that Wilt Chamberlain holds the record for points in a game with 100. How many other spots in the top 5 are held by Chamberlain? Is it 3, 4, 1, or 0?
3.
You. What's your guess, Keith?
0.
Correct answer is 3. Kobe is in second with 81 points, and then Wilt is in third, fourth, and fifth with 78, 73, and 73.
I knew that one.
All right. Now, last question, baseball or football?
Football.
Football?
Sure.
All right. Which quarterback leads the lead all-time in fumbles, interceptions, and pick sixes? Is it Dan Marino, Vinny Testaverde, George Blanda, or Brett Favre?
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre, yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was actually, I knew that one too.
All right.
I'm kind of happy.
Since we have time, I'll just ask this one. What was the original name of the New York Yankees? Philadelphia A's, Baltimore Orioles, New York Highlanders, Washington Senators.
Baltimore Orioles?
Logan?
Wait, what team were we talking about? The Yankees?
Yeah.
Original
The
name.
last one, right?
The original.
The last one you named.
Washington Senators?
Yeah.
All right, and Keith, what did you say?
Baltimore Orioles.
That is correct. The Yankees started out as Baltimore Orioles for a few years, then were the
Huh.
Highlanders. Yep.
That's weird.
All right, so I think Keith won that round, if I'm not mistaken.
The
I think
Sox
Keith,
fan got it.
yeah, the
How'd you
Sox
win
fan
that
got it.
round?
The last round.
Oh, that round.
Yeah.
Sure, guys.
So yeah, I guess it's a tie overall
I
for
think it's
you two.
rigged.
All right, Logan, your turn.
All right, so I have one question, or I have 2 questions that I'm going to ask both of you.
All right, go ahead.
All right, so the first one is, what school has won the most consecutive NCAA D1 men's basketball championships.
Ooh, I almost asked this question. I know the answer. Go ahead.
All right, is it Kentucky, Kansas, or UCLA?
Keith.
UCLA.
UCLA.
All right, that's correct. Why was it UCLA?
They won.
One guy.
It was like the late 60s.
John
Two
Wooden.
guys.
John Wooden.
Yes, but two guys that really passed the totem pole back and forth.
John Wooden and
Not the player.
not the player.
The two players, not the coach.
Oh, I don't know who.
Kareem,
And
Bill Walton.
It
okay.
was late 60s, right?
And then he traded off to Bill Walton.
Okay, yeah.
So what year? The second one. What year did Tiger Woods begin his golf career? His pro golf career.
Do we get choices?
Yep.
Go ahead.
1996, 1997, 1998, 1999.
96.
96.
Yep.
Sweet.
He won the Masters in 99.
All right. So me and Keith, we tied that one.
It's kind of hard to ask questions when you're answering the same one.
Yeah, I'll do that. All right. So Keith, do you have anything else you want to add today?
I have no questions.
All right. Any subjects that stuck out to you in the world of sports today, or do you think we covered them?
I think we covered all major topics.
Who won the match play tournament this past weekend in Texas?
Day.
It
Jason
was
Day
Day.
won
Okay.
again, yeah. So
All right.
that's something to add. He's having a really good year and definitely the favorite looking into the Masters coming up.
He came from behind, too. He was down a couple holes in the beginning.
Yeah. I watched a little bit. I didn't get to watch a lot, so.
Also, before we go off, Jimmy Rollins made the White Sox opening day roster. Good for him.
Yeah.
Logan, do you have anything you want to add today?
Nope, that golf snippet was all I had.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in today. Make sure to follow our show on Twitter at RSR Sports Now. You can follow my personal Twitter at Josh Heller20. Logan?
I'm at lowercase LOGAN_RIPLEY.
Keith, do you want to promote yours?
Puro 413. PERO 413.
Thank you. You can find our archive shows on our YouTube page. Search Sports Now on YouTube, or find direct links on social media. You can find us on Facebook. Search Sports Now on Facebook. We're up to 7 likes.
Awesome.
Woohoo. Thank you for listening to Sports Now on Radio St. Rose. Be sure to tune in next time for all the latest news around the sports world.